For this practice, we'll begin lying down on the back, so come to lie down on your back. And once you lie down, you can take a moment or two to wiggle around a bit, releasing the full weight of your body into the ground beneath you. So you can allow yourself to feel truly supported by the surface that you're lying on. And eventually settle to stillness and allow the eyes to close. Turn your attention to your breathing. And at first, just notice the breath as it is, so you don't need to change it in any way. Begin to breathe through the nose on both the inhale and the exhale if you haven't started already. And without introducing any new tension to the body, begin to elongate the breath so that the inhales and exhales are about equal in length. Make sure you haven't furrowed your brow or clenched your teeth together. Allow the facial muscles to be soft and there to be a little bit of separateness between the back molars. Relax the tongue if possible. And sometimes it can be difficult to relax the tongue, so if that's the case for you, you can attach the tip of the tongue to the back of the front teeth and encourage the rest of the mouth cavity to soften. Breathe into the lower abdomen, below the navel, the rib cage, and the chest. And exhale, empty from chest, rib cage, and lower abdomen. Continue the 3-part breath at your own pace, completely emptying the lungs on the bottom of every exhale, but not holding the breath out for any length of time. And continue to use the 3-part breath throughout your movement practice. On an exhaling breath, bend both knees and bring your feet to stand on the mat. If your pelvis feels uncentered or asymmetrical, you can wiggle around a little bit to adjust. And one leg at a time, bend your knees in towards your chest and hold on to them with your hands. Give your knees a little bit of a squeeze towards your torso and rock gently side to side, just with the intention to find a little bit of length in the lower back, not necessarily to stretch anything. And you may keep your eyes closed, or you can softly crack your eyes open, gazing downward in the direction of the tip of the nose. And hold on to your kneecaps with your hands. So your hands are over your knees. And then allow your legs to move away from your torso so your arms straighten, but don't let go of your legs. Okay. And now keeping the knees together, draw tiny little circles. And notice your breath. Did you stop breathing? Now take the circles moving in the opposite direction. Notice the change in pressure on your lower back and how the circling of your knees also creates a circular pressure. And allow that movement to come to a close. And again, you can hug your legs towards you. Roll over onto one side. Use your hand to help yourself up. We'll come onto the hands and the knees. We'll be in the hands and the knees for a little while. So if you'd like to take a folded blanket on the back half of the mat, or if you have knee pads, you could even do that. But don't roll up a blanket and place it under just your knees. Take it under the entire back half of the mat so that your shin bones are on a level surface. Okay? So take the hands wide. Wider is better. Okay? Spread the fingers, but not so much that you have tension in the hands. And then place the shoulders over the hands and the knees under the hips. Okay. Lift your head. Look a little bit beyond your fingers so you're not dropping the head and looking backwards. And look forward. Okay. Take your attention to the space between your navel and your pubic bone and see if you can lift that space up into the body a little bit without creating tension in your lower back. Now breathe through the nose, 3-part breath. And the next time that you inhale, shift your pelvis forward. Let your shoulders go out over your fingertips and continue to look in front of you, not bending or arching the spine. And as you exhale, draw your pelvis back. And again, don't bend or arch the spine. It's just a forward and backward shift. Inhale, shift forward. And exhale, shift back. So this is a really nice motion for finding the pelvic floor. Take your attention to your sits bones. Finding the diamond between the sits bones and the pubic bone and the tailbone. See if you can feel your movement initiating from this space. So as you shift forward, the diamond shape of the pelvic floor is what takes you forward. The rest of your spine goes along for the ride. And as you exhale, the diamond of the pelvic floor draws you back and the spine goes along for the ride. Okay, now we'll incorporate some movement of the spine. So as you inhale and shift forward, allow the chest to shine forward. And as you exhale and shift back, you can drop the head and look towards your navel. And continue repeating this at your own pace. If you have any discomfort, it's better to make it small and focus on the initiation from the pelvic floor. And then gradually you might work on increasing the range of the motion, but this is not really about range of motion. It's more about the subtle experience of the pelvic floor coordinating your movement. And the next time you inhale, shift forward to a neutral spine, so it's neither bent nor arched. Now, keeping the spine neutral, draw the shoulder blades towards one another on the back, so it's like your entire rib cage drops towards the mat, and your shoulder blades come together. And then do the opposite. As you exhale, press your hands into the mat, Spread your scapula apart from each other, and your entire rib cage will move up away from the mat, but the spine doesn't bend or arch. So try that a few times for yourself to explore. And now take some circles with it. So the scapula will glide along the rib cage in circular motion. Continue to support yourself from underneath, between the pubic bone and the navel. And move the circles in the opposite direction. It's normal for one direction to feel a little bit awkward. And find a middle point. So your scapula are neither pinched together nor spread apart. Your spine is neither arched nor bent. Supporting from between pubic bone and navel. Lift it up into the body a little bit. Okay, and you can stay facing this way. I'm going to change so you can see better. Okay. Take the knees together. And as you exhale, slowly go to one side. And inhale up through center and exhale to the other side. So my knees and my big toes are together. I'm simply shifting the weight to the right and then to the left. And again, it's not about feeling a stretch, it's about coordination. So I'm not trying to feel the biggest stretch, but experiencing the shift in weight from side to side. Okay, and the next time you go to one side, take it into a circle. So inhale for half of a circle, and exhale for the other half. And let the circles be like you're scooping frosting out of a bowl. So you wouldn't leave any frosting on the sides, right? You'd scrape the whole side. So don't rush over any part of the circle. And once you've done 3 in one direction, change the direction of the circling. Still coordinating with the breath. And allow that movement to come to a close. Make sure your hands are approximately under your shoulders. Again, take the gaze in front of your fingertips. And as you inhale, lift your right leg out to the side, keeping the hip joints level. Flex the foot and make sure that the knee, you can peek. The knee and the ankle should be about the same height. It's not important to go very high. It's more important to maintain the integrity of the movement. So knee and ankle same height, hip joints same height. So we'll take it into some circles, keeping the hip joints level to one another. Inhale for half of a circle and exhale for the other half. And again, see, I'm not trying to make really big movements with the leg. I'm more trying to feel the movement of the head of the femur bone in the hip socket. Okay, now take the circles in the other direction. Make sure you don't lean to one side. Keep your weight equal between the hands. Don't drop your head. And as you inhale, lift the leg up to the side again, knee and ankle same height. And next time you inhale, slowly extend the knee and place the foot down on the mat at your side. Bring the hands onto the waist. Okay, releasing the left arm, inhale, sweep the arm overhead. Good. Flex your foot, toes so they point towards the ceiling. Kneecap points towards the ceiling too. And on an exhaling breath, arch over, lightly resting the right fingertips on the shin bone. Take some circles with the top arm. Again, coordinating with the breath, so you have inhale for half of a circle and exhale for the other half of the circle. And reverse the direction of the circling. See if rather than circling the arm bone in the shoulder socket, you can move the entire scapula on the back. As you inhale, come up through center, plant your foot, and place the left hand down on the mat, stacking your arm bones so they make a vertical line. Turn your head to look up towards the thumb of your top hand. Check in with your breathing. Make sure you're still using the 3-part breath. Using all 3 parts of the breath, lower abdomen, rib cage, and chest. And as you exhale, walk your hands down to the mat and back to center. Okay, step that foot in, take the knees and the big toes to touch, and let the hips rock side to side, shifting weight from right to left. Take your chest and your head forward. Lift between your pubic bone and your navel and draw it back. And now take some circles. So as you inhale, take a half of a circle and exhale for the other half. Once you've completed 3, take the circles in the other direction. Allow your movement to come to a close. Weight equal between the arms. Nice wide stance with the hands. And again, don't drop the head. Make sure the chest is open and you're looking out in front of the fingertips. As you inhale, lift the left leg to the side, keeping the hip joints level. Flex the foot. Make sure you can peek. Make sure the ankle and the knee are the same height. And it helps to find that space between the navel and the pubic bone again and lift it inside. That will help. Okay, now take some circles with the knee. Inhaling for half of a circle and exhaling for the other half. Try to keep the 90-degree angle at the knee joint so that you're isolating the movement in the hip socket. And now, after 3, reverse the direction. As you inhale, lift the leg to the side, knee and ankle level. And next inhale, extend the leg to straight, place the foot down at your side. Take the hands to the waist. Inhale, sweep the right arm up and flex the foot so that the toes point towards the ceiling and the kneecap points towards the ceiling also. As you exhale, fold over to the side. Keep your chest facing the front of you, whichever way you're facing, the front of your mat. And now take some arm circles. And allow that circling to not just be the arm bone in the shoulder socket, but the circling is drawn all the way down into the scapula, so the entire shoulder girdle moves. And reverse the direction of that circling. And as you inhale, come up through center, place the sole of the foot back down on the mat, and take the right hand down underneath your right shoulder at your side, and stack the arms so they're in a vertical line. So, for example, not like this, but you want to shift your shoulder on top of your hand. Allow your shoulders to stack so your chest is open towards the front of your mat, and reach straight up. And turn your head to look towards your thumb. And as you exhale, walk the hands down, back to the table position. Step the left leg in. Okay? And again, make some circles with the hips. And this time you can circle in both directions, or you can make any movement that would feel good. If you'd like to go to the cat-cow motion, bending and arching the spine, you can go ahead and do that. You can make some shoulder circles as well. Now, as you inhale, find a neutral table position again. So you take the shoulders over the hands, the knees under the hips, and the feet directly behind the knees. Lift the gaze so it's in front of your fingertips. As you inhale, extend the right leg behind you. Tuck the toes under. And again, notice if the right hip is higher than the left hip, and take them to be the same height. And keep the hips the same height and lift that right leg. So it will feel like you're using the upper inner leg to lift. more than you want to. Okay. Now, as you exhale, draw the knee and the forehead towards one another. Let the spine round and the belly to hollow inside of the pelvis to create space. Touch knee to forehead if possible. Inhale, extend both out. And exhale, knee to forehead. Scoop the low belly inside of the pelvis. And as you inhale, take the head forward and the leg back. Go in both directions. And one more time. And now this time, exhale and step the foot in front, in between the hands. Easier version, step the foot to the outside and use the hands to help it. Okay? Now come up onto the fingertips and allow both sides of the pelvis to move forward and down. Let the chest lift up. If this is a difficult position for you, take blocks under your hands. That's fine. I'm going to show without blocks though. Okay? And now as you inhale, you'll extend the front leg. You can walk the hands, but shift your pelvis back, similar to what we did on all fours. And as you inhale, shift forward, pelvis moves forward. Exhale, pelvis draws back. Inhale, pelvis moves forward. So we're looking to find the pelvic floor initiation again, but this time in a lunging position, so it's a little more difficult. Okay, now as you come forward into the low lunge, stay there. Again, come up onto the fingertips, let the chest lift. Take both hands onto your thigh and allow the chest to lift away from the knee. Okay. As you inhale, sweep the arms forward and up to a V position, and we'll stay here for 3 breaths. Take the gaze downward over the nose and use the 3-part breath, breathing into lower abdomen, ribs, and chest. And as you exhale, take the hands down to the mat and step back onto all fours. Okay, take a moment to feel the differences between the right and left sides, and don't try to change anything, but allow the left side to learn from the feeling of the right side. And that's not something you do by thinking about it, so turn off the thoughts. Turn on the feels. Okay? Taking your gaze out in front of your fingertips, open chest, support from between pubic bone and navel. Extend the left leg behind you, toes curled under. Make sure the hip joints are the same height. And keep the hip joints the same height as you inhale, lift the left leg. Continue breathing through the nose using the 3-part breath. On an exhaling breath, draw knee and forehead to touch, hollowing the low belly into the pelvis to create space, allowing the spine to round. As you inhale, extend head forward and leg back. And exhale, knee and forehead touch. And inhale, extend back. And now as you exhale, step the foot forward between the hands. Again, easier version, step to the outside. Use same side hand to help the foot to be in front of your hip. Come up onto the fingertips. Allow the chest to be open, look forward. And connecting with the pelvic floor, so the space between the sits bones and pubic bone and navel, that diamond shape. As you exhale, let the diamond draw you back. The rest of the spine goes for the ride. The hands can walk. And as you inhale, shift forward, bending the front knee. Pelvis drives you forward. And move like this with your breath a few times. Again, the range of motion, the size of the range of motion isn't as important as the coordination and the attention to the initiation point. the pelvic floor. And also, again, if you have blocks, it's not bad to use blocks. I just don't have them right now. And next time you come forward, come up onto the fingertips, let the chest lift. Take both hands onto the thigh and allow the chest to continue to lift away from the knees. So you're making a half moon shape with the whole body from your back toes up to the top of your head. Okay, take the gaze down over the tip of the nose. As you inhale, take the arms forward and up to a V, lots of space between shoulders and ears, and breathe through the nose using the 3-part breath. As you exhale, take the hands down to the mat and step back to the table position. Again, pause for a moment. Notice the sensation in your body. The sensation continues to move even after you're done with the movement. So don't let that experience escape you. Now take the hands a handprint forward. Keep them wide. Don't spin them in or out. Okay? And feet hip width apart, tuck the toes under, lift the knees away from the mat. And now pick the sits bones up. Drop the head and look towards your navel. And actively flex the feet. If the knees extend or the heels come to the mat, then they do. That's great. But if they don't, that's okay too. But it's important to pick the sits bones up, scoop the low belly and look towards the navel, and actively flex the feet so that your legs are working. And as you exhale, bend the knees again, look up towards your thumbs, and tiptoe the feet forward as far as you can. And if you need to, you can walk the hands back towards the feet. Take the feet wide, the toes angled outward slightly, and bend the knees. Let the head drop. So this is less about the hamstrings and more about the back rounding. So let the head drop and grab opposite elbows if you feel steady only. Don't shake too aggressively here. That really doesn't help. But instead think about the head being like a weight on the end of your spine, and allow the weight to traction your spine so that you are finding space between each joint of the spine. See if you can shift a little bit more weight into the balls of the feet and release the head. And take the hands back down to the mat, walk the hands forward, walk the feet back so you're back in Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Look towards the navel, take a few breaths through the nose. As you inhale, shift forward to a plank position. You might need to adjust the distance between your hands and your feet, but take the shoulders over the hands, broaden the chest, and look to the front of your mat or even beyond the front of your mat, and then lift the kneecaps and reach the heels back so you're reaching in both directions. And exhale, slowly lower onto the belly. Good. Now take the elbows to the mat. And more or less, elbows under shoulders. But if you feel a pinching in the back, you will reach the toes back. Make sure that the tops of the feet are connected to the mat on both sides so that you're not rolling the pinky toes up. Okay, so the whole top of the top of the feet are on the mat, the toes reach back, and the legs straighten. And that might decompress your back a little bit. If not, you can walk the elbows a little bit forward, and that will require less of a back bend or a different back bend, okay? So making sure that the forearms are parallel to one another. Let the chest sink down and draw the sternum forward and take the shoulders away from the ears. Reach back through the toes. Make sure the upper inner thighs are lifting like the one leg thing we did before. Make sure you're breathing through the nose. And as you exhale, lie down. Take the hands next to your shoulders or under your shoulders and press up and back to a child's pose. Shift onto your hands and your knees and sit to one side. At this point, either you'll do a breathing or meditation exercise, or you can lie down onto your back and take a 5-minute rest. Don't skip the rest part. Always do a 5-minute rest at the end of practice. May there be peace in your body, peace in your mind, peace in your heart, and peace in the world. Namaste.